welcome to a NewsBreak 26 special report. I'm Ian Kern, and I'm here today joined by Tony LePage and Courtney Hammond, who are part of the Broadway by the Sea team, which will be at KIRA Amphitheatre on August the 20th. Hi Courtney, hi Tony, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you, thanks for having us.
Yeah, thanks for having us.
So tell me, how did you guys get involved with this project?
Well, we were down at St. Andrews, which we love just being there in general. So St. Andrews is amazing. We were down there, and then we were speaking with some friends of ours, and they were telling us about this amphitheater at Kingsbrae, which I actually didn't know about. I knew that Kingsbrae was there, but I didn't know that there was an amphitheater behind it. And so we set up a meeting to meet with the people there, and they showed us around, and we were completely blown away by the facility. It is just stunning and beautiful, and so we immediately looked at each other and said, we have to do something.
We have to do something here. I don't know what, we got to do something.
We got to figure this out.
So we kind of started brainstorming and chatting with the people at KIRA and trying to come up with what we think would be good for the space and what could be theatrical, but also, work in that amphitheater space. And we came up with Broadway by the Sea, this musical review concert that we're doing.
Yeah, so tell me about Broadway by the Sea. What is that about?
Well, one of our big missions, we've both lived in New York for a long time. Courtney's been here 17 years. I've been here for 12 and been on Broadway. And I've been so grateful to have had the experiences that I've had in New York. And what we want to do is to bring that to New Brunswick. So our mission is to bring Broadway to New Brunswick. And this is sort of one of our first steps and major steps in that direction. So we have four, including me.
Including you, we got four.
4 Broadway stars that are coming to KIRA and coming to Kingsbrae. And we're going to be putting on what's called a musical review, which is various songs from lots of different musicals. Yeah. And then we will also have an ensemble of local New Brunswickers that are going to fill out the ensemble and
a band.
And a full band.
Killer New Brunswick musicians. So
yes.
It's really exciting. We're using local talent, mentoring local talent, and then bringing professionals from New York to New Brunswick, which I don't know has been done in this capacity. So it's very exciting.
Wow, that's awesome. Having, the New Brunswick talent working with the Broadway stars. I mean, how amazing is that? So what are the steps that you took to make this happen?
Sure. Well, KIRA had a lot to do with it. The people over at Kingsbrae, they do what are called artist residencies in the summertime typically. So we essentially talked to them about how do we work in that capacity with them and basically do a residency, right? How do we get to be there and put on a show? So that was the first step, was locking in the dates that they had available, that the venue wasn't already booked. And then it really was a matter of using our resources here in New York. I mean, we have an incredible musical director up in New Brunswick, Mike Doherty, that we've worked with. Tony's known him for years. So we locked him in first and said, hey, can you do this with us? Because music is the main point of this whole concert. And he joined us. So he's on our team. And so he's been working on getting the band together and musical arrangements and all that. We, a couple months ago, put out what's called a notice, a breakdown for auditions for the local New Brunswick ensemble. So we've been collecting self-tapes and reviewing auditions and selecting people to be in our ensemble that way. And then here in New York, Tony and I have been reaching out to people we know and saying, hey, you want to come up to Canada for a couple weeks and do this show with us? And the response has been great.
Let me tell you, people were pretty excited. To come up to East Coast Canada and get away from New York for a little bit. So we're thrilled with the response.
Well, that's great. I mean, it's quite the process to put on a show, but I'm sure once you get there and you do it, it'll be amazing. From what it sounds like it's going to be quite the show. But not only are you putting on a show, but you're also doing a workshop as well. Can you tell me about that?
Yeah, that's the other part of what we want to do. Not only to bring Broadway people there, but we also want to have a mentorship program, and we want to start that going as well. I think that there's a lot to be learned from. There's a wealth of experience that we all have, and I just want to share that with New Brunswick and give people an opportunity that I didn't have when I was younger, when I was growing up in New Brunswick and trying to improve my skills. And so I had a lot of amazing local mentors, but I want to also add another element to that where we can bring people in. And so it's going to be a half-day workshop right at Kingsbrae. Super, super exciting. We're there. Anybody who signs up for the workshop gets to work directly with all 4 of the Broadway actors, including Courtney, and who is a was a New York City casting director for many years, and so there's a lot to be gained, I think, from it, and we're really excited to be able to share that.
Mm-hmm. And so you mentioned that you've got a wealth of experience. What are some of the things that you guys have done? Like, what are some of the cool experiences that you will be bringing to New Brunswick?
Oh yeah. Well,
there's so many things.
Like Tony said, I've been in New York at this point almost 20 years, which is crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, so I mean, before I was in casting, I was an actor as well. So I did musicals, I did tours, I was on cruise ships, I did a Nickelodeon TV show. So as far as performing goes, my resume is really diverse in that way. And then I made the switch to the other side of the table about 5 years ago as a casting director. And I've been doing that for the last 5 years. So that in and of itself is a whole different side of things that I wish I could have talked to my actor self now that I know what I know as a casting director. So I love teaching and giving back to young professionals who are coming up that might have questions, that might not have access to the other side of the table, right? So for me personally, that's what I like to bring to a class. Also acting techniques, singing through song, all those things, because I went to school for these things and did it.
Yeah.
Have lots of experience doing that. And Tony?
Yeah, my experience has been much more just sort of like in the performing. I came to New York with the Broadway musical Rock of Ages. I did that for almost 5 years. And then after that, I've been in Come From Away on Broadway. I've been doing that for the last over 5 years, I guess now. Plus I was in the Apple TV live capture of the show. So if you got the Apple TV, go check me out. I wear something kind of like this, actually. I kind of look like this guy in the movie. There was that. I was also in the vocal ensemble of The Greatest Showman, which was just a huge opportunity. And so it's just, I feel very blessed with the amount of amazing experiences that I've had in New York City.
Wow, that's impressive. This is definitely something that New Brunswick actors, musicians will not want to miss out on for sure. So just to wrap up, obviously it took many steps to get to where you are. I'm sure it was no easy path. What was something that you learned while working to get to where you are that you wish you had known?
I'll jump in on this one. Saying yes to opportunities that might not in the moment feel like the job that you want or the thing that you're going after, because so much of this industry I have found is relationships and experience. And you say yes to something one day and it might lead you to meeting a director that 3 years down the line is directing your dream show and they call you up, or saying yes to being an understudy. In Tony's case, I mean, that's actually for you, but
that's actually what I was just going to say to piggyback on that. I think that a lot of people sort of they don't shy away, but they don't feel like being an understudy is as glamorous as having the role, and they feel less than somehow. But I can tell you from firsthand experience as being an understudy, both in Rock of Ages and Come From Away, it has offered me, first of all, the opportunity to go to Broadway and to have so many just rich moments in my life that I will never forget. And now here I am, talking about coming back home and bringing those experiences back home. It's so full circle, and it's everything I could have ever dreamed of. So saying yes is a really good one.
Saying yes and taking risks, I think, especially for our students when it comes to trying new things, trying new vocal stylings, trying monologues, not being afraid, because why not? We're all here to have fun, right?
Yeah, exactly.
It's called a play for a reason.
Yeah.
Well, what a wealth of knowledge. And I mean, New Brunswickers can learn so much more by attending this masterclass or even watching you guys perform on the 20th. So thank you, Tony. Thank you, Courtney, so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And if you want to catch more musical content, make sure to tune in to our new show on CHCO-TV called Atlantic Spotlight, where we go across the Maritime seeking out music and performance across the East Coast.
A news and public affairs production of CHCO-TV, New Brunswick's only source for independent community television.